becomes important. It's not in the acquisition. That's what you're saying. It's not in the acquisition.
Absolutely.
Because you can have so much and you're still poor. You can have so much and you're still poor.
So it's just like I said about language. You can know 1,000 or 5 million English words, but if you don't know how to put those words together to get what you want, it's just words, But someone that does not even have notes up to that, but knows how to say, please, where can I get food? The person can string together that language to achieve what they want. So I think that is the biggest learning that I've learned about money.
About money. Okay. So why is money so important?
Yeah. No, thank you very much.
So important?
That's a very good question. And at the beginning, you said something that is true, which is money makes things go round. And as a universal language, you need money to be able to literally do anything. If you want to develop yourself, if you want to take care of yourself, your health-wise, if you want your children to get to where you want them to go, and things like that, you need money in itself, But so money itself is important, but I think what I'll focus on, like I said before, is the mastery of money, is the knowing how to plan and focus your money to achieve what you want that will actually let you live a life that is worth living, because at the end of the day, you want to live a life that people will see and then know that indeed you are worthwhile. So I think money is important because it allows you to achieve what you want to do. It allows you to actually get to your biggest life goals and objectives for not only yourself and your family.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Olumide. So money is so important because just like we said, money so people said they are not seeing this live on YouTube. I don't know what is happening. I hope my own technical problem is not affecting everything. Please attend to it, Bolatito, please. Okay, so Mr. Olumide, what you're saying is that money is so important because, just like you said, the language that we use to speak with ourselves is the language that maybe everybody understands as well when we have to exchange value. So that is why money is important. So you also said that you can acquire all the languages. If you don't know how to speak it as well, you might not be able to get anything out of it. You might not be able to get anything out of it. So money is important because that is the language that we all speak. Money is important
Absolutely.
Because that the only language people understand to exchange value is money, and therefore money is important.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to connect to my device now. I've been able to solve something. Thank you, Inga. I'm sorry, we had to rectify some technical issues, and my daughter has been able to fix it. We had to change the device. I don't know why my laptop isn't saying so. And for everybody that couldn't see us live on YouTube, I'm with Mr. Olumide Lonson. He's a veteran in finances. He's an accountant for over 20 years. And not just an accountant, he's a financial analyst. So he does not just know money, he actually understands the language of money. He has applied it to use in different organizations and even in his personal life. And so one of the things we've discussed this morning is the fact that money is a language. It's not necessarily paper. It's a language that everybody needs to exchange value. And that is why money is very important, because without the exchange of value, you might not get what you want. And the only language that is understood in that space is money. And he also said it's not about the acquisition of the money, it's about what you can leverage the money on, what you can use with the money, how you can manage what you have to get what you want. And those are things that we've discussed. I'm sorry that you're just were able to, there's some issues, but please still share the link with friends and family. They need to hear today. So for me, I'm a wellness coach, and I know that money has helped me to having some comfort with money has helped me to look brighter every day. So we want to discuss what financial wellness is. Mr. Olumide, what is financial wellness?
Thank you very much, Anita. So, when I'm talking about financial wellness, I'll actually take it from two perspectives. One is financial wellness, like you said, and also I'd like to link it to wellness because we've all heard about health is wealth and all that. So I will start by talking about financial wellness itself, then I'll dovetail into how it links to wellness, which is what I know that you are obviously a veteran for. So financial wellness in itself is a state, is almost like a state of mind where you are more or less in charge on top of your finances. We all know that feeling when you are in a crisis. Maybe you have children's school fees to pay, you have health issues, you have your parents need money, and then you are running helter skelter. Nobody likes that. So the hope and the expectation and the prayer for everybody is that you get to the point in which you are on the driver's seat. So rather than running helter skelter, you've already known ahead that, okay, in September I'm paying school fees. Okay, in this I'm going to go and do I'm going to pay for my HMO or my wellness thing. You get, so I know that this is done. By this time I'm paying for my insurance. That literally you are putting yourself in a position where you are not reacting to the things in life, but you have already understood and mastered your income, you have mastered your expenses, and you are now on the driver's seat. So rather than running helter skelter, you are on the driver's seat. You are more or less stable. You know that you will not run to pillar to post. So financial wellness is getting to that state where you are literally the master of your money. You are the master of your language, the master of your life, because you are not running helter skelter. You are in charge of what the things that you are doing. Now, linking that to wellness itself, because I see wellness is key to anybody. Because if you are sick, that is something that is hard to plan for. But if you think about it, if you are able to get to the point in which you are on top of your finances and you to reduce even your own stress level, you are not running helter skelter, and you don't hear a news and you think, oh God, what am I going to do? Then after 10 minutes later, something else will come. Oh God, what am I going to do? You already know that you are living a well-planned life. So it reduces your stress, and I'm sure Adetutu can tell us what having reduced stress can do to our wellness. On one hand, on the other hand, which is the part that I even think is more important, financial wellness also comes with financial discipline. And probably throughout my conversation today, you're going to hear me say a lot about financial discipline, being disciplined in your finances, being the master of your finances, being on the driver's seat. Because at the end of the day, it's all about taking responsibility of your finances. So tying that to wellness, one thing I've learned is that if you're able to master discipline in one aspect of your life, especially your finances, you can also now plan the rest of your life. You can know, okay, fine, this month I'm spending 10,000 naira on food. You plan the kind of food that you want to eat, that carbohydrate, protein, fat. You can plan that. Because this month I'm going to have a proper health plan in place. You can plan it. So many times being disciplined in one aspect of your life leads to even planning the rest of your life as well. So one of the things that I mentioned in my book that I used to talk about earlier, my money toolbox, is that in addition to your planning your finances, you can actually plan your health as well. So you can say that since I'm learning financial discipline, why don't I even learn discipline in other areas? Like in January, I'm going to try and walk 5,000 steps every day. And bearing in mind that just like I've said that you are the driver of your finances, you can actually be the driver of your fitness as well. You can be the driver of your health. Like I said that from 2021, I'm going to devote 5,000 naira of my salary every month to my health. Does that mean in terms of food I'm eating, in terms of ensuring that I have a health plan in place, whatever it is. So at the end of the day, financial wellness not only helps you financially to be on the driver's seat of your finances, it also helps you to be even on the driver's seat of your wellness as a person. That saying that health is wealth is not a joke. Because really, if you've seen people that had a lot of money, but because they did not plan their health well. There was all that money is gone to ill health. So but if you know that you planned it, and like let me just give myself an example. Like this year, I planned that before the end of this year, I should have a proper comprehensive health check. I had to ask somebody that after I wrote that, what does it even mean to have a health check? Which is important.
I think we need to
I
talk
consider
about
that
financial
important thing.
health check.
Because I realized that for me to be a complete person, my finances have to be well, my health has to be well as well, not only for myself, for my family, because I'm responsible for everything that relates to me. So it's all about being on reminding yourself that you're on the driver's seat. I will say one more point before I hand over to Adetutu. So many times people always worry that what this financial was, how can you be well when I don't earn money? All I earn is 40,000, all I earn is 30,000. How can I be okay? The truth is that no matter how much you earn, if you don't see yourself on the driver's seat, it will never be enough. You always feel that the money is not enough. Which is why I said at the beginning that it's not really what you earn in particular, but how much you're able to put yourself on the driver's seat of that. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not speaking too fast for the interpreter.
No, it's good at what he does. Mr. Joshua,
yes,
if you want it slow down, just do like this. Slow.
Yes. I'm very happy. I really like that. This is my first time of experience. I'm actually quite impressed. I've been watching him as well. Yeah, so I think it's very key that we know that it's not really about how much you earn, but how much you're able to actually own what you earn. I know that it's my responsibility to plan my wellness financially or otherwise around what I'm earning.
Thank you, Mr. Olumide. One of the very important that you said is that when you are financially well, you're not reactive. My mother-in-law used to say, I lowo baba ifoya. Owo lowo baba igoya. Meaning that when you do not have money, you are likely to be afraid every day of your life. And when you have money, you now become, in a part of so when anything is happening, you now like kilo shell. What's happening is about money. If money can solve it, then there's nothing that should be any problem. So being financially well is actually to have that confidence to respond to the needs that money brings rather than being reactive. And he said that like we ask for wellness. Wellness is an all-round thing. You want financial wellness, same thing you want about emotional wellness. The key part of it is the discipline. It's not the amount that we have. It's understanding that every decision you make is about you. You are the one responsible for how rich and how poor. You are the one responsible for your financial health. It's not going to be Buhari. It's not going to be the environment. At the end of the day, you are on your own. And the most important part to about financial wellness, it's about financial freedom, it's about financial literacy, and it's about financial discipline. It's not about how much. I'm going to tell a story about my dad and me when it comes to how much and how much do we earn and how do we have money. I'll do that shortly. I don't want to be I don't want to be out of the space for Mr. Olumide. Mr. Olumide, are you still with us? Mr. Olumide. So why do people not think stressful? Why is money a stressful part of people's life? Is it still about this financial discipline? Why talk about money and they are stressed? A lot of people are stressed because of money. A lot of people are blaming their employers, they're blaming the government, they're blaming their wives, they're blaming their children for the stress that money creates upon them. Is it still about the financial wellness and financial discipline that a lot of people are when it comes to money, they're just distressed?
So definitely, many of the questions you're going to ask me today, I'm going to link it to financial discipline and financial responsibility. But before I go into that, one thing about money, and which I think we've already mentioned, is that everything that you in life, that you want to achieve, to a reasonable extent, will be tied to money. If it's your own personal development, if it's development for your wife or your children or your parents or your goals, you want to get married, you want to buy a car, you want to go to school, So there's so much that money is required for. For people that did economics, it talks about, you've heard about, the needs are insatiable, but the resources are limited. So all the while we are all constantly looking for how to ensure that this our limited resources is how to use these and clients around these insatiable needs. So that is where the stress comes from. But at the end of the day, like as I said earlier, where the discipline comes in is that you have to realize, one has to realize that you are in charge of your decision. So you can blame it on the Buhari, you can blame it on the FX rate, you can blame it on your wife, your children. Your wife did not tell you this, tomato has gone up, which is fine. But until you get, and that will definitely lead to stress if you feel that the things that you're going through are not truly within your power. It's not within your own country, it's not within what you can do. And that means you're more or less just reacting because you don't have a choice. But what I've learned is that once you realize that, fine, these needs are not satiable, but my resources are satiable, are limited. It is now my responsibility to decide what am I going to prioritize, and then if I can prioritize what I can, what do I need to put some aside for the things that I cannot do, and live with it. So you are no longer stressed about, oh gosh, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. And then you are worrying that I'm blaming everybody else. You are the first step of just being able to get out of the stress is just assuming that, come Olumide, I am on my driver's seat. This is what I have. Based on this, this is how much I think I can spend on this. This is how much I can spend on this. And if it's possible to even have 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira to put in an emergency fund for a later day, let me try and put that aside. So it's really the easiest one. The issue that because the resources are limited, the needs are unlimited, already creates a natural state of stress. So the only way to be able to leap out of that is to realize, to tell yourself that you don't have to be stressed because you are the one taking the decision as to what you can do, knowing that you cannot do everything. Prioritize what you can do and what you cannot do, and then ensure that in all that plan, that a bit of, and I'll talk about a few of the nuggets later on that I've used has helped me to be able to even ensure that I can even keep some things aside for my own future, But the easiest way to even step out of that stress is to ensure that you see yourself as the one responsible for your finances, and you're the one responsible for what you are prioritizing in your own life, based on what you have and what you want to do. I hope that's clear.
It's clear that maybe because of our needs, our numerous needs, that's why we've not been able to. That's why we put a lot of stress on ourselves. You made a point that every one of us should make up our on what is important and what is not important, what is a need and what is a want. The moment we concentrate on our needs and leave the wants, maybe we might be able to rationalize what goes into words and be less stressful when it comes to the management of funds. So, how soon? Okay, you mentioned some emergency funds. What is an emergency fund, and what should people do? I want you to explain so that everybody can hear you. What is an emergency fund? What should people do to ensure that they really do have an emergency fund? And is it emergency in case of medical emergency? Emergency is in case of every other thing.
Thank you very much, and I'm very happy you asked about the emergency fund, because for me, this emergency fund, I think I learned about it very, very young in my career, when all I could say was like 500 naira or 1,000 naira. So emergency fund is called emergency fund, but it's just putting money aside for a rainy day. So for what an emergency fund really is that it's just for one to realize that you can't, everything you earn, you cannot spend everything you earn. That there will be things that will come up that you did not plan for in life. That's what life is all about. It may be health, it might be a particular business opportunity, it might be a particular scholarship program, it might be anything. But I won't say only health alone, but for circumstances where you really, so that emergency fund is just any fund that you can put aside to stop you from having to run around. Some people call it some people call it like a buffer fund at times. So what I typically do, and I'll speak for myself, is that at the beginning of every month, I want to be able to put something little aside for myself. So the way I say, whatever I put aside, I save aside from in that emergency fund is my own money for my future. So I look for how much I can put aside that will not stress me in a month. So assuming I'm earning 50,000 naira a month, like I said that every month, so I'm going to put 2,000 naira aside or 2,500 naira aside. So for me, all I have to find a way to spend in that month is 48,000 or 48,500, and then I will go out of my way to say, okay, of this 48,000, how much am I spending on recharge card? How much am I spending on food? How much am I spending on this? But on that, just like when people talk about tithes and offering, that you first remove it before you start spending money. I put it aside, and gradually I begin to watch that money grow, either by saving it or by investing it. I put it aside because I know that something will come up one day. Today I don't know what it is that will help me to be able to use the money. My hope is that it's not going to be a medical emergency. It might be a business opportunity. You can imagine one day I'm just working. Someone say, "Oh, do you have 500,000 naira? We can buy this and do that." I don't want to be running helter skelter. I want to be able to go back to my fallback money. We take that money and use it to do something big, or maybe I want to travel. Maybe even something that has to do with well-being. I want to travel. I just said, there's this promo that you can get a ticket to America for 200,000 naira. Just say, At that time, I don't want to be looking around calling everybody, please, do you have 200,000? I want to be able to know that I have this money that I put aside for when I need it, especially if it's an amount that cannot come from my regular salary. So personally, it has helped me immensely. I always joke that I lost my dad when I was a bit young. So my emergency fund was actually what I used to do my wedding. And I was surprised about it. All my money went, but after that, I started building it up again. And since then, I don't think that I've ever, for most of my career over the last 20 years, I don't think a time had come that I would spend all my money, without having to put something aside. And like I said, from when I was a youth copper, when I was earning barely nothing. So, and if you don't, this is why I keep saying that it's not really about how much you earn. It's about that discipline to know that you have to put something aside. And just to make a little point, maybe to tell you, it wasn't just as if I was all wise when I left school. I think for me, how it came up was that while I was a youth cop, I was working in the bank. Around that year, a lot of my bosses, people may have heard about the 1999 period. There was a major layoff in the banks. I noticed that many of my bosses that lost their job within a few months of losing their job, they had literally nothing, and they were coming back to the bank to come and be borrowing money, and their quality of life.
Great hair.
Yeah. Their quality of life just dropped significantly. And I said, all these people that I look forward to, they are within 3 months, they have nothing to show for it. And I just told myself that this will never be my own story. From day one, I'll start putting something aside. So when that time comes, I'm not able to work. I have a fallback plan. And that has been my own vision for myself. Because at the end of the day, it's still a personal thing, but it has to be you deciding for yourself that you want to be in charge of your finances.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Mr. Olumide. We've always had doctors. I'm sorry, I'm calling you a doctor.
Maybe I'll go for my PhD.
Oh, that's good. That's great. I want to do mine too. I've been rejected. I want to reapply. I want to reapply. I was rejected in January. I'll reapply. I like the fact that you said that emergency fund is actually created when you have the discipline of not spending all. And you kept reiterating the fact that it's not about how much, it's about you making up your mind that you cannot just spend all. And emergency fund is what you keep aside should in case anything happens. I know that some people say it's that if you're working in any organization, you should have at least 6 months emergency funds. You should have that in a way that you're not even going to touch it for anything. Should in case you lose your job, what happens to you? We've had people that have lost their jobs for 2 years, for 1 year now, And you know, you even said a remarkable story that in 3 months the people have grown maybe some special kind of gray hair because they are really, really stressed because there was no emergency fund. There's nothing to fall back on, and everyone must make up his mind not to spend all. Whether you're running your business, whether you're working for, you're in paid employment, you must make your mind. You must have a discipline not to spend all. That emergency fund you said could be used for anything. Should people have emergency fund separately and savings for investments separately? That's the next question I want to ask, because if I have emergency fund and maybe I lose my job, I might use it to pay the rent so that at least myself and my family can be in a place and we're not worrying where to sleep. Should people have savings for investment separately and savings for emergency separately? And do you want to prescribe the when, you know, you said you once before NYC you're not aware that you should take something aside, but during when you started your first job you realized that it is important and you started immediately. Should everyone start immediately? And for people that are not doing that now, I want you to tell them what to do, because my dad told me when I wanted to start, he asked me, he said, so at least what's going to happen? What's going to happen now that you're going to start working? That was December 2001. I said, I'm going to spend my money, you know, I'll be earning this amount of money now, I'll be able to buy dresses, I'll be able to do this and that. And my daddy said, that's the mindset of the poor. I said, how can it be the mindset of the poor? He said, the mindset of the poor is to spend all. The mindset of the rich is to keep some aside and to send on errand. I said, what kind of errand will you send money? He said, in our economics, did they teach us about money market and capital market? I remember this. I said, yes. He said, yes, the rich send their money to money market and capital market and business market. And when the money brings more to them, they now begin to spend from that money. I said, but maybe the poor too do not have enough. I said, that's the language of the poor. And that language takes away from you the capacity to be in the driver's seat, like you said. It takes away the capacity to be responsible for your life. He actually made a statement, kotor or more kotor, that the moment you are saying it's not enough, you lose the ability to be responsible for your own life and for the lives of people that you know that are around you. He told me that money, I should never say that is not enough. That when my brothers were growing, used to seize their passbook. But now that is alert that they said they receive now, that they just pay money to your bank and you people walk to the counter and withdraw your money. That before you need to have a passbook to be registered and all that and all that. That was what he used to do. He will seize your passbook and he'll be telling you how much to spend. But he said he cannot do that now because we were not generation Sorosoke, but we're still Sorosoke compared to that generation as well. And he told me that I should never use the language that is never enough. And that's what you said now is what my dad told me. And it was so significant in my life that I must not spend all. He said it's the mindset of the poor to spend all. And it's the language of the poor to always say and assume the position of not enough. That the moment you say it's not enough, you're not going to save, you're not going to pull money aside to invest. And so for everybody hearing us today, I know that the economy is tough. I know that so many things are happening around us that you're wondering. But Mr. Olumide is also saying that you need to have emergency funds. You need to keep something aside. Please don't spend all. Just like my dad said, it's the language of the poor. And it's the language of the poor to say is not enough. So for everybody, and you know money, there's a language about money. Once you say, I don't have, everything shuts down. You cannot even think about it again. But if you say, how can I do it? Then you find solutions. So he's saying that. So Mr. Olumide, now please tell us, the emergency fund, should it be the same thing as our investment fund? Because my dad told me that you need to send money to the market. So if we save emergency fund, how do we save it? How do we save investment fund? How do we send money to the market? He said the rich spend from the money they send to the market. How do we spend money to the market?
Okay, so thank you very much. So I would answer that question in two ways. And when it comes to money, like I said, each person has to be on the driver's seat. So sometimes it's hard to prescribe that this is exactly how one should do it. So but I will share with you what I do. So for starters, for my own emergency, so like I talked about the emergency fund, which is money that I really don't know what I want to use it for. I just want to know that money is there for a specific purpose. I also, over time, I also try to save for specific things as well. So assuming I want to plan for my children's school fees, I can put something aside for that. So I would not say that your emergency fund doesn't necessarily have to be different from your investment fund, because at the end of the day, this is your emergency fund. You don't want to take the money and go and put it under your pillow. You want to put it somewhere where it will yield money for you, which is where investment comes. The first step is to have the discipline to set the money aside, which is the even building that emergency fund. The second is what Adetutu, your dad, is talking about, which is that now that the money has been put aside, how do you ensure that that money creates value? Because unfortunately, we all see what the FX is saying now. Without making that money generate more, even keeping the money as cash, it can be losing value. You can imagine what 1 million naira is worth in dollars 10 years ago and what it is worth now. You get. So it's really nothing.
Year. Why are you saying 10 years ago? How about last year?
Last year. So it's important for you to look for ways of ensuring that you can actually yield more from that money, so that the real value of that money is not lost. Now, there are different ways that people do it. It depends on people's risk appetite. It depends on how soon they need the money from. It depends on their age. For instance, a 25-year-old person that wants to invest his money with the kind of risk he can take is different from the risk that an 80-year-old person can do, because if you're 20, you can afford to lose all that money and then you get to pick up yourself again and begin again. You get. Probably somebody that is 80 will not want to take such risk and will be looking for a fixed deposit amount that will just be giving small interest. Some people are risk takers based on their personality. They can afford to take a risk that will make them make a lot of money or lose a lot of money. You get. Some people are more conservative, that they rather just be going to go and get investment that will just give them little return every now and then. So it's for one to have almost like do a profile of yourself, that now that I put this money aside. So number one is that please focus and try your best to put some money aside. The second is, after you've done that, what do you think you can do with that money that will give you comfort? If you are more the one that says, well, let me take a big risk, make a lot of money, and then see where it takes me, go ahead. If you are one that that I'm not really, if I do this risk, I will not be able to sleep at night, you can go ahead. I know some people that did MMM or whatever it is, and then they were let me make this point. Some people actually made money, and if another scheme comes up tomorrow, they will still put their money. Someone like me, I'm not that aggressive, so I would probably never do MMA because I don't have that kind of. I will probably not sleep, if I put my money in those kind of things. So it's all about different risk appetite for different people. But bearing in mind that leaving your money as cash, the money itself may be losing value. You get the real value, the nominal value might be the same, but the real value, might actually be eroded. So it's for you to look for ways of putting the money, of investing the money. One very conservative way that people have used, especially people that want to play the capital market, is to invest their money in mutual funds, which is really just a basket of funds where a professional, an asset manager, helps you to invest down your money in small companies all over the place. So at the end of the day, the risk of that portfolio is diversified.
It's managed.
So it's handled by professionals. Like you have professionals in the health sector, you have professionals in the finance sector, you have professionals in the investment sector as well. So there are professionals that actually can help you to identify what is the best type of investment option for you where you are. But what I keep saying, what I keep encouraging is that while we are looking at those investment options, which is extremely important, the first step is even to train yourself and discipline yourself to even be able to put the money. If you don't put the money aside, you will not have any money to even invest in the first place. So I think that's one very key. And just to let you know, I've always invested all my money. You get, and after what I do is I try to, instead of putting in one particular vehicle, I look for any opportunity I have. I try and put small money there so that I'm exposed to that risk, And then if I do well, you get, but the only thing is that investment must make sense to me. I have to take my time to understand that I understand where it's making money. The reason why the MMM and didn't make sense was I couldn't really understand how the money was being made. And that perhaps I've lost money by not doing it. Maybe I've gained money, I don't know. But because I didn't understand it, again, I couldn't do it.
Maybe you
So
get money.
but so I try to. So it's important for you to understand where the money is coming from. You guess how you're making money. So at least even if you lose, you understand why you lost. Not that you are blindly doing something. But the key thing I think I would like us to know is that for you to be able to invest, you have to have money. And like I said, don't ever think that. And I think your dad already said it as well. Don't ever think that I never have enough money to save. It's really, I agree, it's actually a poverty mentality. Because I've seen drivers that earn 30,000. I'll be doing a joy susu by themselves and be putting 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira aside. So you can never be in a situation which you will not be able to save, even if it's 1,000 you start with, and then over time with that discipline, you can increase it to 2,000 to 5,000 to 20,000, whatever you can do. But you have to start from somewhere.
Thank you, Mr. Olumide. And I will also say that one of the things that happened to me when I started saving was the fact that when you save money, it gives you some kind of it gives you a wellness feeling, a peaceful feeling. As in, you're just like, what is going to happen that might not be able to solve? So some of us are depriving ourselves that privilege, that feeling, when and it was cool. And I felt good with myself. I felt richer because I could save something. Before I knew it, it was much more than how much I was expecting every month. And I will be forever grateful to my dad for that inspiration. And when I asked him a question about the money market, just like he said that, okay, which market will I send this money? He said something very instrumental too. He said that we're so careless in this part of the world that sometimes a big man like him will be taking instruction from his vulcanizer. And you will not be wondering, when someone that is as old as him is taking instruction from a vulcanizer, you're not asking that, why are you taking instruction from a vulcanizer and you make this error? And the person is like, oh, it wasn't his fault, it was this person. Who you take advice from when you have now saved the money to invest is very important. Just like the richest man in Babylon said something about a goldsmith that actually went to a bricklayer or somebody that does brick on how he will invest in his gold and eventually lost his gold. So when you have acquired the discipline of saving the money, please acquire the discipline of learning how to invest the money. We build our career, but some of us are not building our financial career. Or a lot of us are even concentrating on our marital career. This is what you should learn about marriage. I think all of us need to learn about money now because money has carried all things and money keeps the world going. We need to, we need to learn. He has told us about different investment opportunities and all that, but we cannot even do all here. So we need to go and learn what kind of investment opportunity is important. He said, don't just save that money. When you save that money, it's like keeping it under the carpet in your house. It loses value every day. The best thing is to, no matter how much you have, get knowledge, get education on what you can do with it so that you can invest it. And also, please, don't give your money to the person that will squander it. Don't give your money to somebody that will just run away with it. Because at the end of the day, it's not easy for you to discipline yourself to save money, for you to begin to build castles in the air. There's no way you will not build castles in the air that, when I save this money and I make this money and all that. But be sure you're not counting all the chicks before the eggs hatch too, because that's and when the returns is too good to be true. Sometimes maybe it's not true as well. He has talked about all kinds of Ponzi schemes, and people do all kinds of Ponzi schemes. I'm also very, as an Yajebu that loves money, I still am very careful. I'm still very afraid of those schemes. So I don't even put my money. I don't even go near them because I know that I cannot do it because it does. I'm not so lucky. I don't play games. I don't gamble. I've not been so lucky. So I don't gamble. So if I'm putting my money somewhere, I want to be sure of the returns. I read about it. I learn about it. I shook my eyes into it and look at it why I have to spend money. And I also have gone through the discipline of saving it. So I need to be sure where that money is. Thank you, Mr. Olumide, for that point. Thank you, Mr. Olumide. I want you to help us with five 5 money or financial rules to live by. What will you tell our audience? The rules to live by if they want to be financially well.
Okay. I will
I know
run. Yes.
discipline. You talked about discipline very much, and
Yes.
I think everybody
Yes.
has had that.
Yes.
That
Yes.
discipline is number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
If I
give
was
us
going to
more
be
rules.
like, yeah. So in fact, it's funny because a few weeks ago I did a training session on five nuggets of that I've learned, which I call the nuggets of good money habits. If you're following, so people that follow me on Instagram may have gone through them. So I'll just mention them now because in the interest of time, I see that time is a bit far gone. But there are 5 things that I think have helped me, and I've seen that help other people as well. So the first one, like you can guess, the very, very first one is financial discipline. I cannot take that away from anybody. You have to be disciplined. You have to see yourself that you are in charge of your finances. You are responsible for nobody else is responsible, not the government, not your employer, not your family, not your children, not your wife. You are the one, not your husband. You are the one responsible for your finances. You are on the driver's seat. That is number one. Number two is that you have to plan. You have to know what your goal is for your life, for your future, and it's different for different people. Some people their own goal might be A, another person's goal might be depending on the stage they are in life. For me, one of my own goals, I think I mentioned, is that I had told myself that by the time I retire, I do not want to ask anybody for a brass farthing. I want to be self-sufficient, most likely like Adetutu's dad. I want to be able to be self-sufficient when
Mr.
it comes
Lumide,
to marriage.
I'll tell you, my brothers were always angry with my dad because my dad, he says it with so and boldness that he's not going to wait for any to feed him. He's not going to wait for any child. And the guy was loaded till he died because he actually sent his money there.
Absolutely.
He was
So if we have that plan for yourself, it will make you, when you are spending money and when you are saving and when you are depriving yourself of things now, you know what you are aiming for. To get to that point in which you are self-sufficient at the age of 60 or 70. It doesn't just happen. It has to be something that I think you asked me that question. I don't think I answered that. When do you have to start saving? To me, yesterday. If you didn't start yesterday, the next best time is today. So it's something that you have to start. So that planning helps for you to be able to even know what you are planning for yourself and say it to yourself. Another vision I have is that I always joke that my first daughter, Bodesiri, I always say that I'm saving so that my daughter Bodesiri can go to Harvard. So I joke about it, but I like the idea that I'm planning my children's education. You get to get to the point in which whenever they decide to go to any school or anything they want to do, it will not be because I always, what my parents gave me was education. And they did the best they can. So I want to ensure that my children are never in a situation in which they are shortchanged because I could not afford to give them the kind of resources they require to make it in life. So I'm driving myself to ensure that happens. So I'm planning, and for those things to happen, it doesn't just happen right away. It takes time. So number one is financial discipline. Number two is planning. Number three is living on a budget. And I know a lot of people think that if they're living on a budget, people are making them not spend their hard-earned money the way they want. And even when we see people that live on budgets, we call them names. Eshin course, accountant, Ijebu woman, like I need to, But the truth is that, people that actually want to make it in life, want to be successful in life, you have to be able to be in control. You have to know how much you are earning and how much you are spending. You have to be able to know that if I know that this month I'm spending 10,000 naira on recharge card, if by the time I'm planning and by the time I'm getting close to 10,000, but nothing can come out of it again. If I know that I plan to spend 5,000 naira on gifts to people, charitable gifts, and once I reach that 5,000, God forbid, no matter what you come and meet me about, all I'll say is sorry. I will not, because I'm already in charge. I feel that. So it's a real plan, and for people on this call, if you feel that you want to learn about planning and budgeting, I suggest that you try my money toolbox, because I try to put some templates and some structures there that will help you to learn about planning. You get, and I put it in Niger structure. I think so. That's number 3 that I would say, which is budgeting. Number 4, which we've talked about all the while, is about savings and shaving. I would say saving and shaving. Saving is that try your best to put some money aside. Then at the same time, try your best to see how you can reduce your expenses. I need to talk about wants and needs. My own needs might be your own wants. Your own wants might be my own needs. So it's a personal thing. But try your best to see how you can shave your expenses so that you can have a bit more to save. So save and shave is number 4. And I think in my that's I did another study. It's also on my Instagram that talks about things that you can do that might help you to be able to shave some of your day-to-day expenses. I think that would be helpful. The last one, which is I call it turning your passion to profit, is that we all have skills. Not everybody has the same skills. You may have one skill that ordinarily you are just doing and you don't know, but that may be able to help you to make money. That. Why not try it? I have a friend that she used to make food for schools, all these schools that for lunch time for schools. During the lockdown, she decided to start a cookery school, for children, cookery club or something like that, and of course, because a lot of people she liked cooking anyway, and she knew how to cook. She used that to create a club, and she enjoyed it, and people were subscribing. Now she has almost, I think, about 300 children all subscribed to her club. She's making money from it, and she's enjoying what she's doing. Another piece of people. I have a friend that he likes to write short stories. We all feel our children are special. So this my friend had 2 boys that they are always saying funny things. So on Facebook, he's always posting jokes about the things that they say. One day we talked about it and we decided that why can't he just create a book of short stories about all these
like
things?
diaries.
And he did it, and people enjoy it. So it's for you to look at what is special to you that is different from you, and maybe based on your own experience or your network. I know a woman that used to work in a commercial in a corporate organization. She left there, but she noticed that a lot of women, they didn't have time to go to the market, so she started going to the market rather. She started a business. I think she called herself Iyaloja, and I'm sure you've heard of people like that. So she goes to market for these busy women. Maybe she gives them 5% markup or whatever she can get, or she buys. But she enjoyed going to the market. Those people like a lot of people like, but they don't have the time. But they know that all they are spending just 5% extra. They will please go and buy me something. She's someone that that she will buy them good quality things because she's like them. That she understands them. So it's the number 5 thing is that in addition to the money that you're making, look for ways that you can make money by turning your passion to profit. I hope those 5 points are good. I call them the nuggets of good money habits, of developing a good money habits, and I hope you find them useful.
Thank you, Mr. Olumide. You didn't. Somebody said that must we all do more than one thing. I know that everybody should be an entrepreneur when it comes to we know that entrepreneurs are people that are placed in places to ensure that this current wage of money keeps exchanging values. But I also am aware that a lot of people get stranded when it's just one source of income. What will you say about multiple sources of income? Should everybody try to gain more through other places? The woman that grinds pepper for me in the market, she goes to the market for people. So she goes to buy my pepper and all that. She cooks. And one day she told me that these people in the market are blaming her that Wala is too much, but they will still come and beg her for money when they need money. And when people are doing so many things, sometimes too, we feel that they are just stressing themselves. What will you advise our audience on a source of income? Should people try other hustles, especially people that are in paid employment? Because I know that most people that do business try to do one or more or 2 or 3 things. Once you achieve some level of success in this, somebody somehow people come to you and tell you that about this, or because you have a sense to see opportunities, you actually leverage on that knowledge that you have over the years doing your business to begin to look at other things. What will you tell people about
Okay.
multiple streams of income, especially when people are in
So,
paid employment and people that are doing business too? Why should they try other things? Why should they try other things?
So I would answer this one. I have to apologize because I actually have a back-to-back engagement. I have to rush to another engagement anytime from now, But I'll answer this question,
Yeah.
and the way I would answer is that, we said at the beginning that sometimes our resources are not sachet, are limited. Our needs are not limited, So sometimes after you've done everything possible to save as much as you can, you are still not having enough funds to do everything that you want to do. So many times looking for additional source of income may just create for you that additional resources that may just help you to be able to reach that vision that you have for yourself. Now, there are some people that their jobs does not, I would not want to prescribe that everybody must have a second source of income, because I know there's some people that their jobs are really from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and probably don't have time to do anything. They live far from their office, from their house. They live far from their offices and all that. But what I've seen that even if you have those jobs that you may have, which is why I talked about passion to profit. You may have some things that you may be able to do in your spare time, in your free time, that may help you to generate some income. It's not compulsory. It's just that having those extra income helps you to move you that step closer to reaching your financial goals. And of course, we talked about people that have lost their jobs. Anything can happen at any time. You get, you want to, the best time for you to explore opportunities is when you're actually stay financially stable. It's not when you've lost your job, you now start thinking, okay, so what do I do now? If during that time, now that you have your job, you're thinking that, okay, I like to take photographs. Maybe I should be taking what do you call it, portraits of people. Okay, I like to talk about food. Maybe I should create a blog. There are different things that you can do that may not necessarily pull you off your current job. Because I also don't want to encourage people to have business on the side that is not impacting on their jobs. Many employers don't like
their productivity at work.
So it's for you to look for those things that you can do that will not impact on your work. At the same time, you enjoy doing, and it might be even based on some of the skills that you have or your things that you are already doing anyway. I know some people that I have a younger friend that has about 20,000 people on his Instagram, and I'm saying you have this number of people. What are you doing with this? You have an audience of 20,000. If I'm selling socks and I have 20,000 people that are listening to me, who knows? If I'm able to sell 10 socks a day, that's something, That's what he has. He has the followership, Somebody else might just have a voice, and use that voice to create what you want, But if someone might just have a skill, maybe you have it. There's a friend of mine that helped me to design my house, and because she did it for herself. I like the way you designed the house. Why don't you come and help me do interior decoration for my house? And she did, and everybody comes and likes what she's done. And she's done it for a couple of other people as well. She did it on the weekend. So it's for you to look for what you can do, that does not impact on your job. At the same time, you're enjoying. So even if you don't make all the money immediately, you actually enjoy doing it anyway. So, but it's always good for you to have something else to do, particularly if you feel that your current income does not take you to where you want to be financially.
Thank you, Mr. Olumide. Thank you very much. So, what he has said today now is that I'm not going to say that every one of us should just go and take an extra job, but every one of us has a potential in us to actually we can leverage on to make us increase our capacity to earn. And if only we can look through it, we can look inside of us, and if you have a lot of need, I know that whatever you earn might be enough. If the first baby comes, it might be okay. But when the second one comes, and when they start going to secondary school and all that, you might begin to realize that why is it not enough? What he's saying is, once you begin to feel that whatever you have is not enough, it's the time for you to begin to look at it. Not when it is not coming in at all. when you already know that the plan you have, especially from the 5 points that he said, the plan that you have for your future, what you are earning currently might not be to get there, is the time for you to begin to look at other resources that you have in yourself to see how you can maximize it to produce more. And I want to say thank you, Mr. Olumide. He has to go for a meeting. And thank you for
Thank you
staying
very much.
for the
Thank you. Thank you very much.
he just wrote a book on my money toolbox. It's a very wonderful book. It's a fantastic book. The book is in Nigerian name. I remember that I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and Richest Man in Babylon. Those are the books that changed my life. And when I prescribed it to people, they said, "Oh, things that are said there are not. You cannot apply it into Nigeria environment, but this you can apply." And if you have the opportunity to, you can still read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a fantastic book that changed the lives of everything we do in my family, because we read it together, we digested it together, we understood it together, and we read The Richest Man in Babylon. So you can go ahead and do it. This is free publicity. I wasn't paid to do this, but it changed my life. I want to say thank you to everyone that logged in today, everyone that is watching this webinar, everyone that is concerned about their financial wellness. I can tell you that your wellness is not complete without your financial wellness, because money has direct all things. And the language to exchange value in this world is money. When exchanging value, you need money. And so because we need money, Mr. Olumide has also told us that the financial discipline is very important. We need to be financially disciplined to take money aside. And just like my dad, we shouldn't be weighed down with the mindset and the mentality of not enough, and that because it is not enough, we cannot save. Each time you say it's not enough, and that's why you're not saving, you're actually losing the responsibility to be on the driver's seat of your life when it comes to your finances. Just like you build the muscles, you need to build your purse as well. Just like you build your career, you need to build your purse as well. And we also talked about emergency funds. That emergency funds is very important, because nobody knows not what's going to happen the next minute. You should be like my mother-in-law used to say, that when you have the money in your purse, you have a lot of confidence to face the world and to face every challenges of the day. Let's begin to build our future and financial wealth based on not because we are not earning enough, but because we know that we must save. Don't spend all. That's the essence of today's broadcast. Don't spend all. I want to say thank you to everyone. I want to thank you, Mr. Joshua. Thank you for interpreting for special people, people with special abilities. Thank you for interpreting for them. Thank you for everybody that's taking time to log in. Thank you for my crew. This webinar I was looking as it was going to hold, because everything was just wrong. The internet was bad. My computer wasn't saying Zoom, and I was using my phone, and chats were coming in, and I was just like, why? When today I really wanted to speak like an Iyajebu that I am when it comes to money. I love money. I love spending money, and I love to make money as well. And that is why I think it's part of the things why I'm financially well, and I promote wellness as well. So let's start the culture of saving today. Let's start the culture of being disciplined to take money aside. Let's start the culture of promoting wellness, not just by eating exercise and eating the right meal, but by having the discipline to save and to invest. Let's send our money to the market. Let's look at our passions and those things, those hobbies that we do, and see how it can generate more for us. And above all, let's embrace wellness in its whole entirety. Thank you, Wellness Healthcare Group. Thank you for allowing us to do this. We appreciate the fact that every enrollee that is on this platform for making us and our customers that comes in to buy at wellness. Thank you for keeping the fluidity of this mission, because we value from you as well. We might not be able to do this. So thank you, everyone. And I wish you an enjoyable weekend and a restful one, at least a rest from all the hold of the week. Thank you very much. Thank you all.